Hello and welcome back to another episode of WTF is AuDHD. We're Ellie and Paige, late diagnosed sisters. We were diagnosed late.
And we're here to educate.
Did we get it right this time?
I think you did.
I don't know.
I was half in, half out.
I don't know. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all right. We're late diagnosed with autism and ADHD, also known as AuDHD, and this is our podcast, just sharing our stories, hoping that people feel a little seen and part of a community. And today's episode, very special one. This is quite a personal episode, this one. This is constructed mainly from Paige's brain. This is not really even research based. This is all...
some of them are.
Yeah.
Some of them are.
Okay, some of them are. But then you've come up with like your very own, what we're calling Paige's pointers.
Personalised Paige's pointers, pioneered by Paige.
Love the alliteration. It's very catchy. And so, yeah, today, Paige is going to share some pointers that she's figured out on her own, really.
Before I knew I was ADHD or autistic.
Yeah. And it was basically out of like, survival instinct of needing to find ways to manage your brain.
Manage my brain, yeah. I struggled in certain ways and I'm a very driven, hardworking person, and I would obviously figure out like, why isn't this working for me? Why can't I do this? And instead of, I guess what you'd do, Ellie, no offense, is just be too overwhelmed that you don't do anything at all.
Yeah.
I guess am driven more by my ADHD, if you want to look at it like that.
Exactly.
And so I would find ways, I would find strategies to build that would work for me. So yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Honestly, yeah, you've got great tenacity and determination. And yeah, Paige, in terms of our ADHD, Paige is definitely more dopamine driven, I would say, than me, which I think contributes to these strategies, trying to find like how you can work it, whereas I get paralyzed and then just give up. So
yes, generally speaking, I am very driven by money.
Yeah.
That was right from a young age. I'd always try and barter like mum and, is that the word?
Yeah, like bargain with them.
Sorry. Like it'd be like, mum, I'll clean your car for $5. I'd be like, all right, and I'll clean the windows on the inside for another $5 and like try upsell it. Anyway, so I think a lot of these strategies, because I've got goals in my life, like, you know, don't need to talk about those, but a lot of them are to do with like my career. And so like these are strategies, not all of them, but that I've picked up along the way to help me just like achieve shit in my life. Yeah,
nice. You've always been very entrepreneurial is what I would say, more so than me, even just based on your like Instagram graveyard of like things you've tried. It's not a thing to be ashamed of. Like you've tried a lot of things because you are very entrepreneurial, whereas I'm not. I just don't have that as much. And I think that's quite common in ADHD, that you either like are really entrepreneurial, or maybe it's my autism that pulls me back. I'm not sure, but my partner Sam, who's also ADHD, he's similar to you, Paige.
Yeah.
Very dopamine driven, and it really works well when it's pushed into something valuable.
Yeah.
But then it can be dangerous if you haven't got direction and purpose, and often that's when ADHD people end up, with substance abuse issues or doing reckless behavior. But we've got positive
Paige's pointers, pioneered by Paige, personalized. That is so dry.
No, it's great.
Yeah. I think as well, maybe my upbringing with like starting athletics quite seriously from such a young age. I've always been like hardworking and like just, that's why mum and dad put me into it. But I think like training and stuff taught me a lot of things about like working hard as well.
That's very true. You learn a lot about discipline.
Yeah.
Very like, as in not like telling off discipline. Well, that too, but like discipline in terms of applying yourself to something and working hard towards it. That's a very good point. So should we get to our first Paige's pointer then? What's the first one?
Okay.
Bear in mind as well, these pointers are from Paige's brain for Paige's brain, so you may not find them helpful, but you might even find an element to be helpful that you can then personalize to your own life.
Yeah.
So hit us.
Yeah. Also, some of these are based on science and things that I have learned, but some of them are like I've kind of made up or figured out on my own and tailored it, personalized it to Paige. Okay, so this first one is not my own thing. It's actually from the book Atomic Habits, but I find it to be very helpful. If you haven't read that book, I highly recommend. It's great.
It's actually a great book. I read it and it changed the way my brain thinks about things quite quickly. Like it was almost like I read the first chapter and I grasped the whole concept. I was like, I get this now. And it's definitely helped.
Very helpful. So one of the things they talk about in there, and you might already be like, or you might already be doing it without even knowing. Like I think I figured out that I was doing this without even knowing because I was trying to find the easiest way to the pot of gold, if you will.
Yeah.
obviously as well, I work from home, so this is more specific to me being my own boss, but habit stacking is a big one that I use every day. It's like if I need to go to the supermarket, I try and think of everything else that I need to do. And that doesn't seem, when I say it out loud, it doesn't seem like a unusual thing. But, okay, one example for me is that my gym is next to this cafe that I love to go to and do work at. I purposefully go there to the cafe and get like 2 hours of solid work done and then go straight to the gym because it's just right next door. So it's like habit stacking and things, stacking a not so fun habit with like a fun habit.
Yeah.
That helps your brain sort of link like excitement to the more mundane task because you're getting to go do something that you want to do.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I reckon one thing I've done in this realm without really realizing it is I've needed to get into a gym habit, and I find going to the gym quite daunting, and just I've never been good at going to the gym, but I now look forward to it because I actually now have reframed it in my mind as watching Netflix time. So like,
yeah, that's a great example.
Yeah, so I'll like go on the bike and I'll take my Netflix, and so then I've reframed the whole thing into awesome. I get an hour of my morning where I can just watch a show on Netflix.
Yeah,
I'm also doing exercise, but it makes me not dread the exercise as much. I look forward to the Netflix show.
Yeah, brilliant. That's a great example. So just it's like not as much of a scary task that you're, So you're habit stacking, something fun with something mundane. Like if you had to vacuum the house, maybe you would
listen to a podcast
or, you probably do this without noticing, but I implement it more now, and it just, now that I'm more aware of it, it's just, I find it quite helpful.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Just on the cafe thing, I find that it's like a subtle way to body double.
Yep.
Without actually hanging out with anyone.
Yep.
So it's like body doubling with the patrons in the cafe.
Yep.
So it's like busyness all around me, hustle and bustle, but I've got nothing to do other than stare at my computer and do my work. Whereas if I'm at home, I might go, oh, I need to put that washing on. Blah, 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 blah. I also find that busyness around me to actually stimulate me and hone in on my work.
Totally. This is one of the weird discrepancies with ADHD that people get confused by. People think that ADHD people get distracted easily, and therefore why would you go into a cafe that's full of distractions? But it's actually the opposite sometimes with ADHD brains. If we're being given dopamine from just being around people or being around a music playing or something around us, it's basically stimulating our brain with dopamine.
It like tickles your brain in the background while you have to do these tasks.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And body doubling in that realm is like everyone else in this cafe is doing their stuff. So like I may as well do mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a great one as well. I think that's really important. I think I naturally always did body double and wanted to do my homework in the kitchen with mum, and mum never understood that. I understand why. But in hindsight, I was trying to body double because she was doing the dinner.
When she's focusing doing a task, it makes you focus and do your task.
Exactly
and it's just
right.
like you're kind of mirroring each other.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're on your own, you get kind of like...
I just get so restless, and
Yeah.
I need some stimulation around me. Even like the thing with, I remember sometimes mum might say, how are you doing work with that music blaring in the background? But for me, that's again tickling my brain, distracting it almost, but in a good way, so then I focus on the boring thing.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think Dad's the same. He needs some sort of stimulation, so he likes to listen to like jazz in the background that's like got no lyrics though, so that can be the difference. That can be quite distracting for some people. He just needs something to tickle his brain while he works.
Yeah.
So yeah, that for me is habit stacking. So going to a cafe to have a nice meal and get a lot of work done within 2 to 3 hours, and then go straight to the gym afterwards instead of, And then also the body doubling in the cafe, like I find to be really helpful. I get so much more work done than what I do at home.
Yeah.
So
you're basically like borrowing dopamine from somewhere else to then put into another task,
That's such a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just starting with kind of like smaller ones to explain, because there's a couple of other ones that kind of we can go in a bit of detail. One phrase I've picked up recently and I'm finding very, very helpful. Okay, let me just preface this. Me and you, Ellie, we find events and certain tasks that we have been procrastinating for a long time, like very stressful in like the build up to them.
Oh, yeah.
So say I've got an event coming up on the weekend and it's like a big social event. It's really anxiety inducing. I'm like dreading it. That sounds bad. But I'm like...
No, but it's true. Like
it's overwhelming
it's
for
not
me.
personal to the person.
No, it's just overwhelming.
Yeah.
me and you, Ellie, and I think a lot of people listening might have the same thing, where we have a tendency to, all we're thinking about is that event we have to go to, and we're spending all these hours in the lead up to it, the anticipation of it, stressing and experiencing the anxiety of that event when we're not even at the event.
Yeah.
And so one thing I've been saying to myself recently, I'm quite proud of this one. It seems so simple when you say it out loud, but we would just be like, oh, for like 3 hours, I don't want to go. Oh my God, I'm stressed. It's going to be stressful, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I would always say to myself to disarm that obsessive thinking of anxiety. You don't have to feel like it right now.
It's so good, that one. You taught me that one a couple of weeks ago, and I've been using that. Even this morning, I'm in my luteal phase right now, I think, coming into it. So that's the bad bit of the menstrual cycle. We were planning to go to the gym, and I just woke up and was like, I just can't. I don't want to.
And you write it off before, like you just write off that workout.
I'm classic for that. I'll just go, oh, no, don't feel like it.
I don't feel like it today.
Yeah.
What do you mean? It's not for another 3 hours.
Yeah, I've just woken up. Like, of course you feel like shit right now, Ellie. You literally just slept. And so I said to myself, you don't feel like it now. And then I actually honestly felt lighter. I was like, oh yeah, I'll just put my gym gear on. And then I slowly did each task, and then I got there and I did it.
Yeah, it helps you be more kind to yourself. Just being able to enjoy those 2 hours that you have before the gym, it like brings you back to the present moment. And you just go, don't think about all the million tasks you have to do right now, which is get up, brush your teeth, get changed, have a shower, blah, 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 blah. Make breakfast, fill up your water bottle. Like it disarms all those thoughts. And it just makes you come back to the moment and you just go, I don't have to feel like it right now.
Yeah.
All I need to focus on right now is just getting out of bed.
Exactly.
And then you do that and you probably produce dopamine naturally by doing that. It's like almost ticking off like small tasks to make you feel accomplished.
Yeah.
Then it's, okay, get in the shower. Cool, you do that. And then by the time it comes to the gym, you actually do feel like going because you're not like you're just...
Well, you've already got rid of all the pre-tasks now. For me, because the ADHD brain struggles with executive function and task planning and task management, when I wake up in the morning, I don't just see, I've got to go to the gym. I see, I've got to get up, I've got to walk the dog, I've got to eat breakfast, I've got to get changed, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And then all of that becomes overwhelming, and then the gym gets written off. But then as soon as you get those little things done, then the gym's actually not really the issue. It's everything else that your brain's trying to manage all in one go.
That's in the lead up to go to the gym.
Yeah.
So it's just say to yourself, if you're feeling like that and you're like, oh my God, I got that big thing today, and it's like, it's 9 a.m. in the morning and the event's not till 1 p.m. Just say to yourself, I don't have to feel like it right now. I don't have to feel like going right now. Why,
Yeah, what a pointer. No, it's a good one.
Paige's
it actually
pointer.
is. It sounds simple, but it actually has helped me.
Yeah, it's very simple, but it does help me too. Okay, this is a goodie. I find, especially with tasks that you've been procrastinating for a while or that you don't find enjoyable, I gamify everything.
Yeah, this is good.
So I'll set it's like, I think I did it the other day with making the bed because I hate making the bed. Like washing the sheets, like changing the entire thing. It is just...
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah. So you always think that things are also going to take a lot longer than what they do. So I always gamify and go, set your timer for 10 minutes. Like 10 minutes, it's not a long time. See how far you get. And more often than not, I get the task done in half the time. Yeah. And I try like beat that time frame.
Yeah.
Or if like I have to do like a task for work that I've been like putting off, I set a timer and go, all right, there's an hour on the clock. Let's see how far we get. And like, I usually like get through it. And then you're like, oh. And because I'm like racing against myself to get it done. It's like more exciting and like...
Yeah. There's a challenge to it. There's a reward at the end when you beat it. That's the dopamine. That is giving you the dopamine, is the motivation to beat the time.
Yeah.
So it's not about completing the task anymore. It's about, I'm going to beat that stopwatch.
Yeah.
I actually did this yesterday. I had this big work task which was all to do with accounting and maths and money, and I hate it. And I nearly didn't do it. I was like, well, I could do that another day. It's not urgent. And then I was like, no. And I literally said to myself, just set a timer for an hour.
Yeah.
And just see how far you get.
Because you always think that it's going to take way longer. So you're like, oh, it's like 2 p.m.
Yeah.
So by the time I get it done, it'll be 5 p.m. No, just set an hour or even half an hour on your clock, a timer. Yeah. And you say to yourself, I also sometimes say, all right, if I get past half an hour and this timer goes, stop.
Yep.
Like it's like
stop.
You give yourself the grace to go, okay, just try get as much done after 30 minutes and then give yourself the chance to finish that, because in your brain it's only 30 minutes. but I'll bet you more often than not you'll actually get it done.
Oh, I was yesterday when I did that task, I was like astonished at how much I got done.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I've just invested that 1 hour. It's pretty much all done. I actually managed to do most of it.
Yeah.
And then I could enjoy my afternoon without that like, oh, I should have done that. I should have done that.
Yeah, lingering in the back of your head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Set a timer, an hour on the clock, even half an hour. Just see how far you can get. And even just say, like, I can finish this if I stop if I want to after half an hour.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll you'll
you
get
really
further
will.
than what you think.
Yeah. I think a lot of the time with ADHD and then especially AuDHD, so much of my stress is just constant overwhelm.
Because it's paralysis as well.
Yeah, of just everything going on. And so these little strategies actually do help. And this is the beauty and why we wanted to do this episode, because even if you don't have a diagnosis and therefore possibly don't have medication, these are things you can do where you don't need a diagnosis and you don't need medication, because there are things you can do to help yourself here. And I think we just get very overwhelmed a lot of the time. And that's actually what it really comes down to. We just need to break it down into simpler like terms, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Another small pointer, which I think a lot of people already know and do, but I find this to be quite a game changer. I find going to the supermarket very overwhelming, like sensory wise, the fluorescent lights, like people, the boop, 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 you know.
And then like playing their store ads over and over, and it's the same ad.
Yeah. I have noise cancelling headphones, and obviously I know that that's a privilege. Some people don't, and if you do have them, take them to the supermarket and wear them. It is a game changer. It just blocks everything out. It seems so simple when you say it out loud, but once you do it, you're like, oh, that's so much better.
I did that the other day, and I actually had never really done it before, because I kind of, when I go to the supermarket, I either go online so I don't have to go in, or if I do have to go in, I just like race against time. Just like, what do I need? Get me in and out of here so fast. But then when I put my noise cancelling headphones on, it chilled me out.
Yeah.
And I just took my time.
Yeah.
And it just was actually really enjoyable. I didn't even have any music or anything on. It was just it was just the noise cancelling.
Like earmuffs.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And it actually made such a difference to me. It was really calming. So that's a good one.
Yeah.
If you've got noise cancelling.
Yeah,
they are
or
expensive.
just take your earmuffs.
Yeah, all that. That's pretty much what I was doing.
Yeah. No, so that's really handy. I haven't tried these though either, but I'm just thinking of those little things that people have been putting in their ears, and apparently it helps in terms of that too.
Yes.
Like the echoing and stuff.
Yeah, I'm actually tempted to get a pair of these, or even just get a cheap pair of earplugs, because that'll actually do the same thing. You can still hear with earplugs, but it will diffuse a lot of the sound.
Them, yeah. But anyway, that's what I do, and I'm probably that annoying person that someone's going, excuse me. Excuse me. And I'm like, I try to be really, really wary at the same time, and then I'm very apologetic if I have gotten in the way. Sorry. Okay, so I'm sure I won't be the only one that struggles with this if you're listening. I find grocery shopping and like knowing what ingredients to get and then what like I'm going to actually make with those really overwhelming.
Yeah.
And then also object permanence, where like out of sight, out of mind. So things are in your cupboard and in your fridge. Like I forget what I have gotten.
Me too.
So I'll find later on there's like
a droopy spinach.
That's been there. I'm like, oh, that's right. I got that with the intention of, putting that in whatever.
Yeah.
So I always found grocery shopping really overwhelming and like not knowing like how and what to make, So one strategy I implemented, which was pretty funny.
It's so funny and I love it so much.
Also, there was another add-on to this where I was in a point where I was like trying to save lots of money.
Yeah, this was good too, actually.
It was a really good strategy all up. But anyway, so I was in this point where I was really trying to save money. So just bear that in mind for later on. I also find like cooking meals for myself sometimes, like I do enjoy cooking, but sometimes it can be a bit mundane, and also it's just not as exciting eating at home. Like eating out is like so much more exciting.
Yeah.
So what I did is that I created my own cafe menu to put up on my fridge at home. So how it works is that you start at the end goal and work backwards.
Okay.
So instead of going, okay, like, I guess I'll get cheese, and then I'll get, you're at the supermarket, you're like, I'm going to get some dried pasta, and I'm going to get cheese, and I guess I'll get mince then because I guess I'll make like a spaghetti bolognese, whatever. It does require a bit of prep.
Yeah.
But it's worth it, trust me, because all the thought processes are done for the whole week.
Yeah.
So the idea is that I go, this week, I want nachos, I want burritos, I love Mexican, I want sushi, and I want a tuna salad. Mm-hmm. So I write all those down. Also, ChatGPT is brilliant for this. So type into ChatGPT, write an ingredients list for these meals.
Yeah.
And maybe like say if you're dairy free or like,
Yeah.
And so that does all the brain work in terms of making a shopping list for you. So you have your shopping list and you already know what you're going to make.
Yeah.
And then you go to the supermarket prepared. You get all the ingredients, come home, whatever. The next part of the process, I find this quite fun. I'm a graphic designer, so I can make my own. But you can go on Canva. Canva's free. I think they have a free subscription. And you can find a cafe menu template. And so it's super fun to like put your meals in.
Yeah.
And then you know that like, cool, I know that I've got all the ingredients for these things.
Yeah.
I don't have to like scrounge around in my fridge and my cupboard to like see what I'm going to make and see if I can make that.
Yeah.
So the thought process is already done. You've got your ingredients for every one of those meals. And then I put them into the cafe menu and I print it out and put it on my fridge. So when I get hungry, instead of open the fridge and going, oh, I don't know what to eat.
Yeah.
You come straight to your menu, which is like kind of cool because you're kind of like tricking your brain into thinking that you're like going to a cafe. And you go, I feel like, I didn't say this before, like a tuna melt toasty, yum. Then you know that you can find all the ingredients and then you can make it. The add-on I talked about last time is that I put monetary values next to each thing.
Yeah.
And I was also trying to eat healthy. So in order to have like a Coke Zero, I had to put $3 in my savings account, but water was free. So water was free, Coke was $3. So every time that I got something off the menu, I had to put that much into savings as well. You could even get like a coin jar and then it'd be fun. Like it just makes it more fun.
It does. It's really smart. And it also makes you consciously think before you have that Coke.
Yeah.
It like makes you pause for a second and go, do I need this Coke? Do I need to spend $3 on this Coke?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I have water.
Yeah.
It's good.
And so it's like a good way to save as well. So that was just like a little add-on at the time that I did. But I find it to be really helpful because then I've got all the ingredients I need and I make it and it just takes away all the brain power in the moment. You've done it. You know you've done all the work.
Yeah.
And also I would make like, if it was a meal that was like more unhealthy in my eyes, for me, it would be like more expensive.
Yeah.
But if it was like the tuna salad, it would be like, $2 or whatever.
Nice. Yeah, that's a great one. I think that's awesome. And like maybe, I know people may not be able to use Canva or don't know how to use it. So maybe one day we could like have you make some templates for people to like download or something.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I find that one, it's a pretty buzzy one, a pretty niche one, but I find it to be really helpful because I find like eating, because I want to eat healthy. I like eating healthy. I know it's good for my brain. It's, and so it's just a strategy to do that and think of meals that are like semi, pretty healthy and,
Yeah, that's great because again, like as someone with ADHD particularly, I find that I'll always go to the easiest thing, which is always a processed food, a sugar food. And I think that's one thing that even like with ADHD, following instructions can be really hard because again, that's your executive function trying to work out the steps of the method. So if you've kind of already done it early, it makes that less overwhelming as well. And it stops you eating sugar.
Yes, and also if you go to your fridge and you just grab like a processed thing, you probably could have found something more healthy that you could have made, right?
Yeah. Yeah, probably. So
this menu thing.
Lazy.
Because you're lazy because you don't want to think about,
Exactly.
I have a can of this, I guess I could do that. It's too much to think about.
No.
So at least with this, you can look straight at that and go, oh, that's right. I got ingredients to make a tuna melt sandwich.
Yeah.
Yum. I'll make that. And so, yeah. So I find that to be quite fun.
Yeah, that's a great one. I think that's really creative and fun.
Yeah, it's creative and fun, and it kind of is a psychological game that you trick your brain into getting the dopamine you get when you eat out at a restaurant.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's not fully, but it is for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you do all the brain work at the start of the week, and then you know what you have, and it's more exciting. You can like look at your menu and go, ooh, I feel like that today.
Yeah.
Also, having options. Like I hate pigeonholing myself into like getting all these ingredients, spending all this money on it, and then going, oh, I don't even like want that. It's like you create like a wide range of like different meals that so there's always going to be something on there that you're like, oh yeah,
I feel like that.
I feel like that. That sounds yum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice. That's cool.
So the last one is a goodie and it's a biggie. I have found that journals that are on the market do not work for me.
Nah, neither.
They're shit. Sorry. I was just like, I don't want a lined journal for one. There's no structure. It's just like, I need to kind of be directed and told what to do for one.
Yeah.
In a sense. I want autonomy, but I want to be, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
totally.
I need like structure and processes to be able to get shit done.
Yeah.
And so I would always find that if I would one time be like, oh, I feel productive, I'm going to go to Whitcoulls and get a diary. Like I'd do that sometimes. You either get like a lined one that's blank or you get a dated one, which if it's June or July, you have to flick through the whole journal and like waste half of it. First of all, save the trees.
Yeah.
Second of all, like the leather that was probably made to make that journal. And I just don't like dated ones because it's just like, what, you're telling me I have to be ready and motivated to start at the start of the year? Like, that's not how I work.
No, it needs to be ready when I'm ready. And I find that with journals like that, if I do get a dated one, if I miss one day, it's like, it's game over.
Oh, yeah.
My brain can't then go, oh, well, I'll just go to the next day that I'm up to. I go, oh, no, I've ruined that
because you feel
journal.
guilty and you like sabotage it. You're like, oh, I've effed it up, you know.
Yeah, so I'm ashamed. So I like put it in my drawer.
Yeah.
I have so many journals and drawers.
Yeah, so do I. Like ones that I think I'm going to use, I'm like, yeah, this is it. I'm going to use this. Never stick to it. And then you come back to the journal. Say if you do pick it up again and you do come back to it like a month later, you have to flick through all these pages and waste it. It's just so not economical and efficient.
Yeah.
So anyway, I decided that I wanted to design my own journal.
Yeah.
To like be personalized to Paige's brain. So yeah, I wanted a diary that I could pick up when I was feeling motivated and impulsive, you know, in my probably follicular and ovulation phase, be all motivated. And then when I fall off the wagon, I'm not shamed. I don't feel shame, like, you know, like guilty for like just taking a week. And then I can pick my journal back up again and literally start from where I left off. Like, not feeling any shame, not wasting any pages. So I designed like a daily intention diary that focus on 1 to 2 priorities in a day. But that only, because I think for me, I'll say, is that when I write down a list of all these things I've got to do, it all merges and it's just hard to prioritize. So I really, really think about what do I have to get done today?
Yeah.
1 or 2. And I've designed it in a way that it's like hierarchical. So it's like visually appealing and you can just see what you're working on. And then under that, there's like space for subtasks.
Yeah.
But it's like a daily intention journal and it's like hyper focuses on the things that you only need to really do and it blocks out the rest of the noise.
Yeah, it's great because people with ADHD really do struggle with task prioritization. That comes back to the executive function once again, where we can see a whole bunch of tasks and they can be completely different priorities, but to us they look extremely equal.
Yeah.
And then we get so overwhelmed that we don't start any of them.
Yes.
So you're basically saying prioritize 2 main tasks a day that you have to get done.
2, maybe 3. Like, yes, I would say 2.
Yeah.
And sometimes for me, a priority will be a big task made up of a few subtasks.
Yeah.
So I start like at like the end goal,
Yeah.
which is that I need to get that document like designed. That means that I've got it and I'll write in the subtask, like, you know, and I don't overcommit myself because at the end of the day, you haven't done what you wrote down. For me, I would always feel real guilty and like, oh, you're such a failure, which you shouldn't say to yourself. I shouldn't say to myself. But, you know, the self-hate chat would come. And I also have a box at the bottom of the page that says carry over tasks till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because it kind of just disarms that guilt. And it goes, okay, I didn't actually get to this one that I wanted to, but that's okay. It's all good. Let's not like beat ourselves up. Like life happens. So it's a box where you can write carry over tasks and go, I didn't get that done. So it just kind of like makes you feel like you still have the intention of doing it the next day or whenever you can fit it in.
Yeah.
But it's not, and it's also not forgotten about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like you actively put it in there. Also, I've like put in here just like a little daily check-in, like a little mood thing. Nothing too overwhelming. I sometimes find journals like that, there's just too much. So this is like a 1-pager with like everything you need in one.
Yeah.
It's like really good. Anyway,
It is very cool.
I've found it to be very, very helpful. And I also know for a fact, I don't know exactly the right statistic, but I know that writing is more, your brain absorbs information better when you're actually writing on paper.
Definitely.
As opposed to like typing on a computer.
Definitely. I think that is a thing with ADHD because a computer's like not real.
It's not real.
It's like intangible. So even when I find like reminders pop up on my desktop, I ignore them by accident.
Yeah.
Because it's all just one big blur of technology.
Yes.
And so, I agree. Writing stuff down is actually the old fashioned way and it's actually the best way.
The best way. You have a physical thing that you take with you, which is funny because you might forget it sometimes. But I actually found though that because like I know like people, autistic people can form like emotional connections with like inanimate objects. It actually became my like emotional support journal. So I didn't actually forget it much because it was like I felt comfort in having that with me all the time.
Yeah.
So I find that to be very helpful. And also making it visually appealing. So I've got like spaces where you can like color it in with highlights and like make it fun.
Yeah.
And it's just a way to like be intentional with your day and your tasks and not shame or guilt yourself if you haven't got to a task. It is all good. And it's not like a bullet list with like 10 bullets, because that to me, I just go, what?
I've got so much shit to do. I'm not going to do any of it.
So you just don't do any of it and you're overwhelmed. So it's got 2 boxes where it's just like, what do you have to get done?
Yeah.
And it just blocks the rest of the noise out.
Exactly, because you never know. Again, you might get those 2 main priorities done quicker than you think. And then you've still got your little other list there that you can go to and add more if you need.
Yeah.
But it's almost like when you are eating food and like you take too much on your plate, you can't reverse that, but you can always add more.
Yes.
So it's important to just start small with food, start small with tasks.
Yeah.
Because you can always add more, but it's hard to reverse it.
Yes. And I think I'll speak for myself. Before I kind of got the strategy in place and realized how my brain worked, I would always, when I felt motivated, it would be all or nothing. So I would be like, I would overestimate.
Yeah, same.
And be like, I'm going to get this done, this done, this done, this done, because you're in that excitable state of like, I finally feel motivated today.
Yeah.
Like you end up going, oh my God, I didn't get anything done.
Nah.
So just really being kind to yourself and going, just 2.
Yeah.
2 things.
That's all.
That's all.
That's all.
And then, like Ali said, you might find that like by midday, you've actually done those 2 things.
Yeah.
And you can either go, clock off the day, go, I got done what I wanted to today. I don't have to get anything else done today.
Yep.
Or you can go, because you've got now dopamine from completing these 2 tasks, you might find that you're then going,
You're on a roll.
You're on a roll. Let's do this task. So
Yeah.
that for me has been a life changer.
Yeah.
And I'm quite proud of myself, I think, for like figuring that out and implementing this strategy without even realizing what I was doing. And now knowing that I'm AuDHD, I'm like, that makes so much sense.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the journal's amazing. And I would love to one day be able to release that.
Yeah.
Right? Like the dream is to actually eventually release that, because it actually is so helpful.
It's helpful. And I think the biggest thing is like being able to come back to it literally a year later, if you wanted to, if you went, and not feel guilty and not waste those pages.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Well, hopefully we can get that happening at some point, because I do think that journal would help so many people.
I think it would, yeah. So I'd be stoked as to like bring that to life and then like offer it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please do. Yeah. And is that the conclusion?
So mainly I think I'm finished Paige's pointers. I probably have much more where that came from, but like
it's
probably a good amount.
Yeah.
I don't want to overload you,
Yeah. No, that was great. And I think that they're really simple things, but they really do help with the overwhelm, and just like structuring your day really helps. It's so hard when you've got ADHD because it's hard to create a routine, but I'm realizing now that I actually do need routine. And so I'm trying my best to get up at 6 a.m. every day, no matter what. Even just getting up at the same time every day, I've found recently has actually made a real massive difference to my life. And it probably sounds simple as well, but often I'd kind of just, it would change every day. But now it's like 6 a.m. And even if I just lie in bed for 30 minutes, it's actually quite nice. I did that this morning when I was trying to psych myself up for the gym. I just lay there for 30 minutes going, you don't have to feel like it now. But then I got up and I had a really good start to the day, and I feel very productive because of it.
Yeah.
So hopefully you found some of those Paige's pointers.
Well,
very
I got
helpful.
one more.
Oh, you got one more?
Actually, this isn't me. I saw it on TikTok and I actually think it's quite good. It's like if you need to get stuff done around the house, apparently putting running shoes on is meant to help.
Bro,
because
I
it
do
tricks your
this.
brain into thinking that you're like going and being active.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
I do this if I get home from somewhere and I've got shoes on, I will make an effort to either take them off or keep them on, depending on what I need to do. So if I have to do stuff, I'll often keep them on. And honestly, it does. It works. It actually keeps me feeling like, okay, I've got to keep going. I've got to keep going.
Because as soon as you've end that, stop that inertia, it's really hard for us to get going again with ADHD, isn't it? It's just Yeah,
inertia is a massive one. We haven't really spoken about that. That's massive in ADHD and autism, is like once you're in a flow of something, it's really hard to get out of it.
Yeah.
And switch tasks. That's a huge issue. So if you had that issue, that is to do with neurodivergent brains.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just thinking of this idea right now, so don't hold me to it. Maybe I could create a little PDF of Paige's pointers.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That people can download.
Yeah.
And maybe have.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But I'll think about that, and
we'll work out how we
can
can
do that. But That'd be a good thing to just like write down these Paige's pointers and like if you wanted to download it. But I'll get there. Sorry.
Yeah. We're still work in progress here.
Yeah, that was just a thought just I had, so I've been impulsive there. Sorry.
Love it. Well, thank you for sharing those very precious Paige's pointers. You know, like those are things that you've come up with slowly over time and made them for yourself. So it's very generous of you to share them.
Yeah.
And
Here
they
to
are
help.
Yeah, they're really, really helpful. And if you've got any like suggestions or things that you do, if you're listening, we'll put an Instagram story out with a little box and let us know if there's pointers that you have, or even you can fill out our Google form in our link tree and let us know what your strategies are that we could share with the wider audience. And yeah, we'll be back next week for another ep.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening to Paige's Pointers, pioneered by Paige.
It's catchy. We'll catch you next week.
Bye.